Many Americans work harder than ever, yet somehow they still feel like they're falling behind. They get raises, switch jobs for better salaries, and even pick up side hustles, but by the end of the month, there's still more stress than savings. Here's the surprising part. The problem usually isn't income. It's habits. In fact, two people can earn the exact same paycheck and end up with completely different financial futures simply because of the decisions they make every day. One quietly builds wealth while the other stays trapped in a cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. If you've ever wondered why your bank account never seems to grow no matter how hard you work, this video could completely change the way you think about money. Today, we're going to uncover 5 money habits that keep millions of Americans broke, and more importantly, exactly how to replace them with habits that build lasting wealth. Some of these habits are so common that you may not even realize you're doing them. By the end of this video, you'll have a practical roadmap that can help you take control of your finances, reduce stress, and build a future where your money works for you instead of the other way around. Let's start with something that almost everyone experiences at some point. Imagine getting a promotion at work. Your salary increases by $10,000 a year. You feel excited because you finally believe life is about to become easier. For the first few weeks, it does. Then you decide to upgrade your apartment because you can now afford a nicer place. You trade in your reliable car for a newer model with higher monthly payments. Your streaming subscriptions multiply because they're only a few dollars each. You eat out more often because you've been working hard and deserve it. Before long, that raise disappears. Your expenses quietly rise to match your income, and suddenly you're right back where you started. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it's one of the biggest reasons people struggle to build wealth. Every increase in income becomes an excuse to increase spending instead of increasing investments or savings. Lifestyle inflation feels harmless because each purchase seems reasonable on its own. A slightly nicer apartment doesn't seem extravagant. A newer phone feels justified because you use it every day. Upgrading your wardrobe seems appropriate after getting a better job. But when these decisions stack together, they quietly consume every extra dollar you earn. The result is that your financial situation barely improves even though your paycheck keeps growing. Many high-income professionals earning 6 figures still live paycheck to paycheck because their expenses have grown just as quickly as their income. Wealth isn't measured by how much you earn. It's measured by how much you keep. The solution isn't to stop enjoying life. It's to separate increased income from increased spending. Every time you receive a raise, consider directing a significant portion of that increase toward your future before you ever see it in your checking account. Increase your 401k contribution. Set up an automatic transfer into a Roth IRA if you're eligible. Build your emergency fund until it covers several months of living expenses. Invest consistently in broad market index funds. When your savings increase before your lifestyle does, you begin creating financial freedom instead of financial pressure. Eventually, your investments begin generating returns that earn money even while you sleep. That's the moment your income starts working for you rather than requiring your constant effort. The second habit is something that marketers have perfected over decades. They know that human emotions often overpower logic. Think about the last time you walked into a store for one simple item and walked out with 5 bags. Or maybe you opened an online shopping app planning to browse for just a minute and somehow ended up placing an order you hadn't planned on making. Modern advertising is designed to trigger emotional spending. Companies spend billions of dollars studying consumer psychology because they know people rarely buy products based purely on need. Instead, they buy convenience, status, excitement, comfort, or the temporary feeling of happiness that comes with something new. Emotional spending creates a dangerous illusion. Buying something can temporarily relieve stress, boredom, loneliness, or anxiety. But that feeling usually fades quickly, leaving behind only the bill. Many Americans unknowingly use shopping as entertainment or emotional therapy. Credit cards make this even easier because they separate the emotional pleasure of buying from the pain of paying. Research has repeatedly shown that consumers tend to spend more when using credit cards than cash because the transaction feels less immediate. Over time, these small emotional purchases become large financial problems. Hundreds of dollars disappear each month without creating any lasting improvement in quality of life. Breaking this habit starts with awareness. The next time you're tempted to make an unplanned purchase, pause for 24 hours before checking out. Ask yourself whether you're solving a real problem or simply responding to an emotion. You'll often discover that the desire disappears once the emotional moment passes. Another powerful strategy is creating a monthly spending plan that includes guilt-free fun money. Giving yourself permission to spend a specific amount each month actually reduces impulsive purchases because you've already decided where your money will go. Budgeting isn't about restricting your freedom. It's about directing your money toward the things that genuinely improve your life rather than the things that provide only temporary satisfaction. Another common financial trap is ignoring the true cost of debt. Debt itself isn't always bad. A responsible mortgage or a low-interest student loan that increases earning potential can make sense. The real problem begins when high-interest consumer debt becomes a permanent part of your lifestyle. Credit card interest rates have climbed to historically high levels, and carrying a balance month after month can quietly destroy your financial progress. Imagine investing money and earning 25% annually. That would sound incredible. But if your credit card charges you that same interest rate, the math works against you instead of for you. Every month you carry a balance, you're effectively paying someone else before paying yourself. Many people focus only on the minimum payment because that's what appears on the statement. Unfortunately, minimum payments are designed to keep you in debt for years while generating significant interest for lenders. A relatively small purchase can end up costing hundreds or even thousands more than the original price if it's carried long enough. Understanding compound interest is one of the most important financial lessons anyone can learn because it works in both directions. When you invest, compound growth builds wealth. When you're trapped in high-interest debt, compound interest builds financial stress instead. The smartest approach is to eliminate expensive debt as aggressively as possible while avoiding new balances whenever you can. Once those monthly payments disappear, redirect that same amount into investments rather than increasing your spending. This simple shift transforms debt payments into wealth-building contributions, allowing your future net worth to grow instead of enriching credit card companies. One of the biggest misconceptions about building wealth is the belief that investing is something you do later, after you've reached a certain income level. Millions of Americans tell themselves they'll start investing once they get a better job, pay off every bill, or have more money left at the end of the month. The problem is that later often turns into years, and those years are incredibly expensive. Time is the single greatest advantage an investor has because of compound growth. Every dollar invested today has the potential to earn returns, and then those returns begin earning returns of their own. It's a process that seems slow at first, almost invisible, but over decades it becomes one of the most powerful financial forces in the world. The people who retire comfortably are often not the ones who earn the most. They're the ones who started the earliest and stayed consistent through market ups and downs. Imagine two friends who both want to retire with financial security. One starts investing at age 25 and contributes a modest amount every month into a diversified portfolio of low-cost index funds. The other waits until age 35 because life always seems to get in the way. The second friend may end up contributing much more money overall, yet still struggle to catch up because they lost 10 years of compound growth. That's the cost of procrastination. It's not just the money you didn't invest. It's every future dollar that money could have generated. Warren Buffett's fortune is often used as an example of this principle because a large percentage of his wealth came not simply from investing wisely, but from allowing those investments to compound over an exceptionally long period of time. Many new investors believe they need thousands of dollars to get started, but that's simply not true anymore. Today, many brokerages allow fractional share investing, meaning you can begin with relatively small amounts. The most important habit isn't investing a huge sum once. It's investing consistently. Automatic contributions remove emotion from the process. Whether the market is rising, falling, or moving sideways, your investments continue. This strategy, commonly known as dollar-cost averaging, helps reduce the temptation to time the market, something that even experienced professionals struggle to do consistently. If your employer offers a 401k match, failing to contribute enough to receive the full match is essentially leaving part of your compensation behind. An employer match is one of the closest things to free money available in personal finance. If you're eligible, make it a priority to contribute at least enough to receive the full match before focusing on many other investment options. After that, depending on your financial situation and tax strategy, accounts like a Roth IRA or traditional IRA may provide additional opportunities to grow your retirement savings while taking advantage of valuable tax benefits. Another financial habit that quietly keeps people broke is trying to impress others with expensive lifestyles they can't truly afford. Social media has made this problem even worse. Every day, millions of people scroll through carefully edited highlights of luxury vacations, designer clothes, expensive restaurants, and brand new cars. What most viewers never see are the credit card balances, car loans, personal loans, and financial stress hiding behind those pictures. Comparing your financial journey to someone else's online image is one of the fastest ways to make poor money decisions. Status spending has become deeply ingrained in modern culture. People often believe success must be visible. They assume that looking wealthy is the same as being wealthy. In reality, many truly wealthy individuals live surprisingly modest lives. They understand that real wealth isn't measured by the logo on your clothing or the price of your car. It's measured by your assets, your investments, your emergency savings, and your ability to make choices without constantly worrying about money. Think about two neighbors living on the same street. One drives a luxury SUV with a large monthly payment, upgrades every new smartphone, and finances expensive vacations every year. The other drives a reliable vehicle that's fully paid off, invests consistently, and quietly builds a growing portfolio. From the outside, the first neighbor may appear more successful. 10 years later, however, the second neighbor may have accumulated hundreds of thousands of dollars in investments, while the first continues making payments on depreciating assets. Financial success often looks boring in the short term because it prioritizes delayed gratification over immediate recognition. Delayed gratification is one of the defining characteristics shared by many financially successful people. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this monthly payment?" they ask, "What is this purchase costing my future?" That simple change in thinking transforms countless financial decisions. Every dollar spent today is also a dollar that cannot be invested to generate future returns. This doesn't mean you should never enjoy your money. It simply means every purchase should align with your long-term priorities rather than temporary social pressure. There's another habit that quietly damages financial progress, and it's one that doesn't receive nearly enough attention. Many people never take the time to understand where their money is actually going. They work hard, receive their paycheck, pay their bills, swipe their cards throughout the month, and hope everything works out. At the end of the month, they wonder why nothing is left. Without tracking income and expenses, managing money becomes little more than guessing. And when you're guessing, small leaks can grow into major financial problems before you even notice them. Many people assume budgeting is restrictive, but the truth is exactly the opposite. A good budget creates freedom because it tells your money where to go before it disappears. Without one, your paycheck gets pulled in every direction by impulse purchases, subscriptions you forgot you had, rising living expenses, and countless small transactions that seem insignificant on their own. It's rarely one giant purchase that keeps people broke. More often, it's dozens of small financial leaks happening every single month. A $10 subscription here, a $15 food delivery fee there, daily coffee runs, convenience purchases, and impulse online orders can quietly add up to hundreds or even thousands of dollars each year. Because each expense feels small, it's easy to ignore them. But wealth is often built or lost in these tiny daily decisions. Take a moment to imagine someone who earns $70,000 a year. On paper, they should have room to save and invest. But after paying for streaming services they barely watch, ordering takeout several nights a week, financing the latest phone every year, paying unnecessary bank fees, and making impulse purchases online, they reach the end of the month wondering where all their money went. Nothing feels excessive, yet the total tells a completely different story. This is why tracking expenses is one of the most powerful financial habits you can develop. The numbers remove emotion and reveal reality. Once you know exactly where your money is going, you regain control over where it should go instead. Technology has made this easier than ever. Budgeting apps, banking dashboards, and automatic spending reports can categorize transactions and help you identify patterns you may have never noticed before. Some people are shocked to discover they spend thousands of dollars each year on dining out or online shopping. Others realize they're paying for subscriptions they haven't used in months. These discoveries aren't meant to create guilt. They're opportunities. Every unnecessary dollar you eliminate becomes another dollar that can strengthen your emergency fund, reduce debt, or grow your investment portfolio. Building wealth isn't about making one perfect financial decision. It's about making hundreds of small, consistent decisions that move you in the right direction. Financial freedom isn't created overnight by winning the lottery or finding the next hot stock. It's created by repeating smart habits over and over until they become automatic. That's why automation is so powerful. When your savings, investments, and retirement contributions happen automatically every payday, you remove the temptation to spend money that should be building your future. Successful investors often say they pay themselves first, and that's exactly what automation allows you to do. It's also important to understand that financial setbacks are a normal part of life. Unexpected medical bills, job loss, car repairs, or economic downturns happen to almost everyone. The difference is that people with strong financial habits prepare for uncertainty before it arrives. An emergency fund doesn't just protect your bank account. It protects your peace of mind. Instead of relying on high-interest credit cards during a crisis, you have a financial cushion that allows you to handle unexpected events without derailing your long-term goals. That's one of the reasons financial experts consistently recommend building an emergency fund before aggressively pursuing other financial objectives. Remember the 5 habits we've talked about today. Lifestyle inflation quietly steals every raise you earn. Emotional spending tricks you into buying temporary happiness with permanent dollars. High-interest debt turns compound interest against you instead of in your favor. Delaying investing costs you years of powerful compound growth that you can never recover. And failing to track your money leaves your financial future to chance instead of intention. None of these habits are impossible to change. In fact, the moment you recognize them, you gain the power to replace them with habits that create wealth instead of destroying it. The encouraging news is that you don't need to be a Wall Street expert, earn a 6-figure salary, or come from a wealthy family to build financial security. You simply need a system and the discipline to follow it consistently. Every financially successful person started somewhere. They all made mistakes. They all faced challenges. What separated them wasn't perfection, it was consistency. Small improvements repeated month after month become life-changing results over years and decades. The earlier you begin, the more time compound growth has to work in your favor. But it's never too late to make better financial decisions than the ones you made yesterday. Imagine yourself 5 or 10 years from now. Picture opening your investment account and seeing steady growth instead of worrying about overdue bills. Imagine having an emergency fund that lets you sleep peacefully at night, knowing an unexpected expense won't throw your life into chaos. Think about the freedom of choosing work because you want to, not because you're desperately trying to make it to the next paycheck. That future isn't reserved for a lucky few. It's available to anyone willing to replace destructive money habits with intentional financial decisions starting today. If you found value in this video, don't keep these lessons to yourself. Share it with a friend or family member who could benefit from taking control of their finances. Leave a comment below telling us which money habit you're going to change first, because making that commitment publicly is often the first step toward lasting change. And if you want more practical strategies on investing, credit scores, retirement planning, tax-saving opportunities, passive income, and building long-term wealth in America, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our next video. Your journey toward financial freedom doesn't begin next year or next month. It begins with the very next financial decision you make. Make it a smart one.